This is Dr. Goodfellow speaking.
In my last messages, I told you about the Battle of the newfound. The encounter between Dr. Goodfellow and the Daughter of the Dragon. How they unexpectedly fell in love and fled from the battle
To find each other on a paradise planet, somewhere on the other side of the galaxy. Let us now turn to our two main characters, Dr. Goodfellow and the Daughter of the Dragon. Who is the Daughter of the Dragon? In order to understand this, you need to understand where she comes from. Indeed, her story begins before her birth, as she herself is the offspring of unexpected love. Her home planet, Alivagar, is a cold and remote world, covered with vast wastes of ice. Its perpetually blowing, freezing winds make it a particularly inhospitable land. Nevertheless, it once was home to many mythical empires, some of which disappeared, and some of which remain to this day. Among these enduring empires is the Kingdom of the Dragon. The Lord Dragon is a mighty king, a wicked and powerful warrior,
and possibly the most reputable warlord among Agitar legions.
Many tales are told of him. It is said he can make whole cities burn, simply by exhaling
A blazing breath of fire.
He inspires fear and exacts obedience from all the people,
The lands of which he decides to conquer.
His empire is vast, and it seems it will never stop expanding, as his never-ending drive for adventure brings him in contact with new worlds and civilizations, and reignites his need for more. For many decades, he waged war repeatedly against new enemies with his powerful army and a host of warships fitted with dragon heads that inspire terror.
A long time ago,
When he was still a young soldier, the Lord Dragon lost his beloved fiancée in tragic circumstances. Since then, he built a cold and indestructible shield of hate and pain that imprisoned his heart. Killing and destruction were the only means by which he could soothe his pain. But the more destruction and killing he took part in, the more he needed it. And the more love seemed to him a remote and fleeting idea. People said he'd never find love again, and would not be able to enjoy an offspring of his own. His fate seemed to be inescapable death and the end of his bloodline. Notwithstanding, deep in his heart, the great Lord Dragon grew secretly wary of all this violence and endless fighting. After many cycles of exhaustless bloodshed, his adventures brought him to warmer and more peaceful realms in the lands of the south. Little by little, his mood began to soften. This is when his ship landed on a beautiful shore, bathed in quiet waters. The new land he trod was home to the most amazing creature he ever met. His heart was instantly set on fire when he laid his eyes on her. His love for this wyvern only grew as he stayed by her side. She was a wondrous being, of amazing beauty, a daughter of kings. She may herself have had the power of a dragon. It seemed they were from the same world. After a little while, they decided to marry, and he brought her home to his kingdom of ice and arranged a feast worthy of the greatest kings. A short time afterwards, their newlywed queen was pregnant, and she gave birth to a daughter whose beauty rivaled the wonders of Valhalla. Her skin was pale as ice. Her eyes were as luminous as the sun. She was full of a deep joy and curious of all things. The daughter of the dragon grew up to become a stunning woman, but also
The best pilot of her academy.
and like her father before her, she was also a brilliant student of martial arts. However,
Unlike her kin, the Agitar,
she never underestimated the powers of love. The oracle said her life would be full of incredible adventures.
Daughter of the dragon.